Welcome to No Strings Attached Street Ministry. This is an update. Sorry guys, I haven't been around in quite a while, but I've been pretty busy. Good friend of mine and brother in Christ, his name is Lance. He's always supported my ministry and supported me as well. And one day back in December, he asked me to take a ride with him to Ruskin and check out a property that he owns. And so we come up here just to look at his dilapidated property and see what we could do with it, and maybe get it back working again and that kind of stuff, and maybe get a renter in there, and try to make the property profitable again, at least enough to pay the taxes. So it was a couple issues. He had just rented it to a young couple, and they needed some plumbing addressed, so I come up to take care of that. And when I got here, this was the home. You could tell it was very run down. Inside was paneling. It was like 40 years past update time. It was in pretty rough shape. Any bug named a man was in it. But the couple was warriors of a TV show where they used to show people taking homes and flipping them, and going in and remodeling, that kind of stuff, and had a lot of ambitions, you could say. And their thought was, well, we'll work off a little bit of rent, we'll try to put this place back together a little bit, fix it up. So, which was pretty cool. I mean, they did pretty well, but apparently they had some relationship issues. And the short story for Lance was, that they ended up breaking up and moving on. And in the process, what he had done, he went in here and completely gutted this house. Inside and out, tore the walls down, electrical, plumbing, you name it, it was all just basically ripped to pieces. And now the house was unrentable. And Lance was really concerned about that. So, he still wanted his house to, be able to go on the market. So we had a meeting with him and his mother and his father and his grandmother, and just to come to mind and see what we could possibly do with this property and clean it up, maybe get it back to where we could rent it. In the process, by doing that, I mean literally there was nothing but the outside metal and the 2x4 studs on the outside walls. That was it. That was what was in the house. A little bit of the ceilings. The guy that was here before did floor pretty much half the house on this side of the house, on the back side, and he did put the flooring down at least. But he left one room that they used that they were living out of, one little bedroom, and they didn't gut that. They took the outside skin off of it and insulations and everything else in the walls, but they did have the small bedroom was still left so they could use it. And he installed that little window unit right there into that window, and that's where they lived, was in this window, inside this little room here. And so I've been up here, and then he calls me up in April and tells me that they had left the house and he needed me to come up and evaluate it and see what he needed to do to hopefully get it to back to where at least it could be rented. So I made another trip up here with him, and we come up and evaluated the house and had a meeting with the mines and decided to do a remodel on the house and bring it back into good shape. But I told him, I said, well, Lance, is probably more than I could handle myself. I'm just an old guy, broken down, and he says, don't worry. He says, I know your abilities and I have confidence in you. He says, work at your pace when you need to work, when you need to not, and just get it done, Jim. I'm like, okay, I'll do what I can. And I just was happy that he actually had enough confidence in me to actually be able to do it. He had more confidence in me than I did. So let me show you what I've done. We've basically remodeled this house. As you're coming into the home, we've updated everything. We've built walls, put all the walls in. We've sheetrocked the entire house, knocked down the walls. We knocked down, floored the living room floor, pulled it back up, floored it, and fixed some of the electrical and the plumbing, and you name it, we had done it. And well, just over 2 months later, this is our result. But rebuilt the kitchen, put in a new kitchen, and tried to figure out what we wanted to do with the layout. We didn't want it coming back the same way it was before, but we wanted something a little bit more open. So this is what we came up with. But just give you an idea of what we're at and where we're at. We've got to expand again. I had a very, very small kitchen in it before, so what we done is we took the old dining area here and turned it into part of a kitchen as well. And we extended this kitchen all the way down. And this wall would have not have been here, but it has some plumbing stuff in there and some electrical stuff that just couldn't be moved, so we had to leave it in there and made like a little small wall. And we moved the stove from right over here and put it over against the wall, and done a few other things that we were trying to. This is the big living room here. I mean, this house is just literally huge. It's like 1,800 square foot. I mean, it's a huge mobile home. But we come in and basically updated everything right up to the ceilings and the walls, and we built all the walls. It was just the outside shell pretty much. This one room that we're coming into is this is where they were staying. And this one, all I did was just basically knock down it and update it and paint it, or primed it. We scraped the tiles off the floor. Those little 1 foot square tiles. And 90% of them were busted and popped up and all kinds of stuff. So we were in the process of just removing that so we can get new flooring down. And so we're doing what we could, just to try to keep this, and whereas the cost was halfway decent anyway. Turn this here into a little closet laundry room. There's your dryer and your washing machine, and everything is supposed to be in this room. This little wall right here, from here to here, was the only thing in the middle of the house that was standing, and that's the power box area. So we had to leave that as well, and we had to work around that. So, and then we come into this room. Now this room here was just a small room. We turned into this wall here. Was originally, that was part of that room that they were staying in, so it was still there. We just painted it and knocked down, made it knock down and brought it back up. Built the closets, and again, it popped up all the tiles and tried to get everything cleaned up, and redid the drywall on the walls and the electrical, and we built this entire wall here. This is the master bedroom. Pretty good size. Hung all the fixtures, the light fixtures, and installed this air conditioner here for them, for this master bedroom. Redid the floors in here and knocked down and just getting it ready, for flooring. The only thing left that we have to do that I can tell is just really the flooring. Built this bathroom here in this closet. Put this bathroom all back together. This one was totally different than what it used to be. But we built like a little woman's changing table there and a sink. Put all the racks and stuff on the walls and make it look nice and pretty. And the shower is right there. This shower was actually still installed. It was the only thing that was in the house was this shower. And no toilets. So we had to take the old toilets that he ripped out and we put them back in different places, and you know, just tried to use whatever we could of the original stuff, you know, to remake a house again, but not to be stupid and put in junk stuff that was unworthy. Then we built a little half bath here for the guests, you know, just the toilet and a washroom, you know, so they could use the bathroom. And just basically kept it fixed up. Put all new doors in, the trim, everything else we had done. Oops, there's something I needed to address, that little covers. We got that. There's a few little things that I still need to do, like put on light covers and things like that, you know, just like 3 or 4 of them left that I didn't get to. And this is like a little living room area type thing, I would think, or a dining room, whatever they wanted to make it at. It's right off the kitchen. But this is the project that I've been on. And the good thing about it is that it's helped me fund my next journeys, because I've been doing a lot of dreaming again, and I've been getting a lot of instructions on some new travels. So we'll be doing that, and of course probably 95% of whatever goes from this job here that I made is going to go right back out to loving the people of the world and continuing my ministry. So say a good blessing to these people. They've been wonderful. They've helped me, and they've believed in me and trusted me and listened to me, and just really has been a very big pleasure to work for this family and make this happen. So it's a beautiful little home. One thing I do every single morning was to come out here on this little porch and watch the sunrise right up through there. But and it just out here now, it's got its own little private little lake back here. You know, it's a beautiful piece of property, I'm telling you, it really is. I mean, to clean it all up. We've been working on cleaning it up, and surprise for Lance, we've finally knocked down the dirt pile, and tried to, that's something that's been a nightmare for him for a while. So last night we had a gang of probably 10 guys, and we knocked it down. So, you know, we've been trying to work on this, but the only help I've had is the yard work. I got one guy cleaning the yard up. He's doing a real good job. He's been working pretty hard all week long on it, and disassembling some stuff out here. And a couple of other homeless boys come by, and well, we give them some work and worked their butts off and tried to get this pile knocked down for him, and some trash picked up around here and cleaned up. And so just really the last week I've actually had help. Pretty much everything else I've pretty much done all by myself. I mean, I've done on my own. And anyway, this is what I've been up to. Hopefully it's a little bit. I'm sorry I haven't been I'm out here. I don't have internet or barely even cell phone service, so it's been really, really hard for me to communicate. I love each and every one of you. I want to say thank you to a few of them that's still supporting my ministry. I wanted to just let you know that God brought me here for a reason, and come to find out, I found out why, because I've met probably 15 of the homeless population here that was all pretty roughnecks and troublemakers and things. And you know what, over the time I've been here, I've been able to witness with them and love on them and talk to them and actually turn them into some pretty nice guys. So I mean, I'm real comfortable with the outcome of that, help with their struggles and their trials. And they've actually realized now that, you know, there's actually people out in the world that do love them and do care about them, and just doing God's work and helping build His army. And so keep us in your prayers. Probably will be finished up on this job here in the next day or so. If that, I might even leave today. Once he gets here and sees what's going on, I don't know. He's going to have someone else do the flooring. I didn't want to do that. I have a hard time of getting down on my knees, so it'd be really hard for me to do that. So I opted out on that side of the project. But basically the only thing he has left to do is the floors. And I would call this project done. And thank you so much for the Chaplin family and the Trust family, and you know, just to be able to give me an opportunity to build my confidence on what I can still do and what I can't still do. So thank you all very much, and have a great, blessed day. Thanks.